I just figured out how to use Claude to generate pretty much any kind of automation in N8N just using simple Claude prompts. And even better, I can replicate existing workflows just by taking a screenshot. Hey, I'm Ethan. I've earned over 70 grand in the last 6 months running my AI agency. In this video, my goal is to cut through the bullshit as much as possible and show you an extremely practical way to streamline your operations and build workflows faster for clients to save you time and money. So whether it's a client's existing system in Make that you want to transfer to N8N, a YouTube tutorial that you just saw that you want to figure out if it will work for your clients, or any other N8N workflow that you find on the internet. If you have a screenshot of it, if you have a description of it, then we can generate it inside of N8N or using Claude inside of N8N. And so if your agency is still manually building out automation step by step, then you're already being outcompeted by people that understand how to use Claude and other AI systems to generate workflows. And so with the right setup, Claude can pretty much reverse engineer any workflow you can imagine. And it's not 100% perfect. It gets you about 80% of the way there with just 1 or 2 prompts. But this is still 10 times faster than you would have manually built it out. So this can help you onboard clients faster, scale delivery capacity without having to hire more automation people, or just dramatically reduce the time you spend on workflow creation. And so in this video, I'm going to start by showing you a live demo of the system. You're going to watch me create and reverse engineer this complex, like a super complex workflow in just a matter of minutes. And then I'm going to show you how to actually set this up. So we're going to learn how to configure Claude with the exact system prompt and resources to get this to work. And then I'm going to show you how this could fit into your agency's operations and client delivery. And so if this has piqued your interest, stick with me and I'll show you exactly how it works, how you can set it up for your agency's Claude project, and how you can get benefit from it in real time. So before I break anything down, let me prove to you that this can actually do what I say it can do. So if I go over here, this workflow is one that I just generated inside of Claude. So if I go over here to Claude now, you're going to see that I have this project here. Let me zoom out a little bit actually. So you can see this project here is basically just a couple of the N8N workflows that my team has built out that I plopped in here. And then I have an XML prompt in here, which is the system instructions, which gives it a bunch of context on how to build out these workflows. And so basically what I can go in here is I can basically tell it what types of workflow I want it to generate. So let's say it's like an Airtable content generator. This is one system that I have shown and built out for a client. So let's start with this right here. I'm going to say, build me out an N8N workflow that starts with an Airtable node and gets a user query from Airtable. Whenever that query comes in, we want to run that text through a social media generator. This will be a block of text, and so basically we'll be taking the query inside of Airtable, running it through an OpenAI node, and then we're going to be releasing it on all sorts of different social media platforms. Maybe it's LinkedIn, Twitter, or X now, and then Instagram and Facebook. And I want you to use the AI to generate copy for each of these platforms, and then to go and actually schedule them out on each of these platforms using Airtable and the native APIs for each of these social platforms. So you can see this is a pretty complex workflow that we're going to be working with here. And so once I click send, Claude references its knowledge base, applies its understanding of N8N, and it starts outputting this JSON here that I can copy and paste directly into N8N. And so the result is literally a complete workflow with all of the trigger nodes, the AI agents, all the integrations, whatever I told it to do. And something that I forgot to tell it is to make it a downloadable JSON file. And so if we go over here to N8N, while this is generating, you can see that this is essentially something that we can import as a file. So if I go import as a file, you can essentially see that I can upload this directly in here. And so now with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this generate, I'm going to say, now make sure that this artifact is a downloadable JSON file. I'm not going to bore you here while it loads, and so I'll check back in. So now that this is finished generating, you can see this entire JSON that it just generated based on the project knowledge base, the custom instructions, etc. And so I basically said make sure that it's downloadable as a JSON file. And so now that I can download it, I'm going to download it here. Boom. And so I'm going to download it as a JSON file. And now what I can do is I can actually go over here into N8N, and I'll show you exactly what it generated. So if I go over here into N8N, And then I go click on the three dots here, click import from file. I can choose the social media workflow that we just downloaded. And then what you can see is that it's basically, it just generated this entire thing from scratch. It created the workflow steps and instructions, saying that it generates multiple social media posts. It gave us the kind of structure here. You can see on a trigger, it gets the queries, and it lists out rows, and you can see it's not perfect. Like sometimes it doesn't get it quite right. OpenAI generate content didn't work. And so basically what I would do is I would just add in an OpenAI node here. I would message a model, but it's not like literally going to get everything for you here. But you can start to get a sense that with just, within about 2 minutes, we had this entire workflow generated, which is checking where to post things on. It's saying scheduled on Twitter. It's using if statements. It's taking JSON variables. It's posting them. It's updating Airtable with the results. And then it's continuing to the next item. And if it's false, and it's trying to do error handling in here as well. Instagram Graph API, Facebook API, etc. And so you can see how utterly powerful this is, that it's basically just generating this, from scratch. And so the next thing I want to do is I want to show you how if you can just take a screenshot of something and paste it into Claude, it could probably just generate the same thing. So if I literally just look up N8N Workflow image, like we're just going to go on DuckDuckGo here, and we're just going to find an image of a workflow. So this looks like some webhook with tweets that's getting testimonials. Let's try to find a little more complicated one. There's a Postgres database in here. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. Here we go. I'm not exactly sure what this one does, but it looks like it's getting invoices using code. Let me just pull in. Yeah, let's just pull in something like this. So if I copy this image, or if I just take a screenshot of this, if I take a screenshot of this, if I go to Claude, I'm going to create a new chat here. I'm going to grab this screenshot, and then I'm going to add it to a project, use a project, N8N Workflow Creator, recreate this workflow and make sure it's downloadable as a JSON file. So now we're going to go in here and we're going to see if it can just recreate this workflow from a screenshot. And once we finish this, I'll show you exactly how to set this up inside of Claude. Dang, it's not letting it download as a JSON file. Okay, and so while this is running, we'll let this actually just run in the background here. Now I'm going to show you how to actually set this up inside of Claude. And so it's actually really simple how to set this up. Basically, the first step is you're going to want to create a project. So if I go over here to my projects, and I go into a new project, I'm just going to set this up from scratch with you. So we're going to go N8N Workflow generator. We're going to create this project. We're going to set this up. So we need to set up the project instructions. And so basically how we can set this up is we can basically just take some parameters from this, and we can set this up. So I'll actually just add the custom instructions directly into the community. And so if you go in here, if you go into the community here, so if we go into AI systems, or we go into AI Agent University, where we kind of like show you exactly how to set these up, inside of the AI systems template, there will be I'll just add the prompts directly in here. So this is going to be the Claude N8N agent, N8N workflow builder. And you will see in here, there is just this, the system instructions directly within this. And you can basically just copy and paste this into the system instructions in here. And so if I go into the new project, we'll basically just take the system instructions, and then basically what I did is I just added like random workflows in here. So I literally just went into my N8N, and you can see I basically just went in here. I'm not gonna save it. I just went into like different systems that me and my team are building out. So like this is a system that is helping us with short form content generation. And so let me just rename this. Basically what I did is I just did that, downloaded it, went back into Claude, upload from device, and you can see all these different workflows in here. And I just added all of these workflows from the device directly into this. So if I go in here, email personalizer, job campaign, generator, short form, boom. I just copy and uploaded all of those different JSON files. And now if I go in here and I say create me a N8N social proposal generation system using Tally Forms API, PandaDoc, OpenAI to generate the dynamic variables, etc. And very importantly, make sure that you can download this JSON as a file. All right, so we're gonna let it build this out, and you can see we just generated this project from scratch and set this up. I'm actually gonna go into this other one, and I'm gonna show you exactly from start to finish. I'm gonna say, now recreate this as an artifact that I can download as a JSON file. So now you can see if I go over here, it's downloadable as a JSON file. It's recreating the scenario. And so now you can essentially see how this works. And so it literally did not create it as an artifact, but that's okay. So it's still downloading this. So now we have two different workflows being generated at once. And I want to show you this from start to finish to show you that I'm not just like copying this from the internet or something. So this is what it just generated. So I'm literally just going to go copy, download as JSON, proposal generator.json. And now if I go into N8N here and create a new workflow, you can see that if I create a new workflow from here, I'm going to go and import this as a file. I'm going to use the proposal generator. You're going to see it's not contain valid JSON data. So I guess you will not see. But we can go back in here. The response is that this doesn't contain valid JSON data. Make sure that it's valid JSON from start to finish. Sometimes it looks like what happened here is the response like basically aired out at one point and it didn't actually finish the workflow, so we had an incomplete workflow. Yeah, okay. So you can see now that it's generating the rest of the workflow. And so I'm gonna just let that go. And I'm gonna go back to the chats. We're gonna look at the other one that we just generated. So this is a tally form proposal generator, and this is I think a different one. I'm moving too fast here. I don't even know which one I'm on. Okay. Oh yeah. So you can see that it says Claude reaches max length for a message. Hit continue to nudge it along. So I wonder if that's gonna separate it into two separate JSON files. And so sometimes Claude just hits its limit. But we can see here, yeah, we can see here that it's two separate JSON files. So now let me go back in here and see if this one finished out. It's still generating. So you just have to make sure that the entirety of it gets generated. It looks like this is still generating. Let's see if it's actually going to do the entirety of the workflow here. Boom, it's creating sticky notes. You can see it adding error handling in, message processor. So what was this workflow again? Oh, this was the one from the screenshot. So you can go in here and it just finished. It looks like it finished up using valid JSON. So this is a screenshot workflow generator. And now if I go in here, if I go import from a file using the screenshot one, screenshot one, you can see that it's sometimes it doesn't understand what is an AI agent, but you can see it's adding in all these custom code modules. It's writing us a bunch of custom code. It's getting the tool check. And so this one looks like it was trying. And so as you can see, it's not perfect, but it's really great for ideating on different workflows that you can create, building out the outline and the structure in trying to analyze this, right? Trying to build this out. And so that's the essence of how to build this out. Let me see if I can get the other one to work again. Now recreate the system as one JSON file. Let's see if it creates an artifact in this one. Usually you want it to be an artifact. No, it's just not generating it with an artifact. But you get the idea. So we saw the social media system. We saw it trying to recreate this one from a screenshot. Oops, it's a different channel I run. More of the philosophy musings. Okay, so the next thing is how do we actually do this for clients? So the last thing that I want to show you and talk about is essentially how can we use this in order to just add overall value to clients and actually building out their systems. And so one of the things that we can think about is setting up systems inside of this. And so one of the things that I could do is I could improve on a system. I could download a JSON file here and basically have it improve upon the system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of different ways we could go about this. But let's see. Let's say we wanted to like create a new, I think the primary thing that we can think about here is if you're getting custom projects, inside of like a lot of people try to aim for highly productizable services, but that's not always the best bet because sometimes you have to actually build out really custom projects for clients. You can't just build out, templatable services. And so if this is the case, it's essentially, this is like the productized version of customized services. As weird as that sounds, what you can think about is that on the one hand, we have like productized. And then on the other hand, we have like fully custom. On the other hand, we have like fully custom builds. And what I want you to think about is how we can actually, we actually want to focus on more custom builds now because we can just use the automated workflow generator to scope out the project with the client, and then we can essentially just delegate it to our contractor when it's already 80% complete with a 5-minute Loom video. And then this can basically be the entire system build project. So we could sell a custom system, for anywhere from $3 to $12,000. The most recent projects that I've scoped out have been all within the $8 to $12,000 range. And within these systems, we can just automate the workflow generation instead. And then if you do that enough times, you'll eventually have a productized service. So don't start by trying to aim at productizable services, right? You want to actually start with the fully custom model, because if you do that, eventually you'll have enough of these custom systems that Claude and contractors will help you build out that you will have a productizable system, right? And so we could just say, like, here's an entire system. I could literally just give it the transcript from like my sales call with the client, and I could basically just scope it out from there. Another thing that you could do is just build it all out like based on a YouTube tutorial. So if you see a YouTube tutorial, something that someone else has done, you can just sell it to a client and you can have this system build it out for you. And so let's say we go into N8N workflow generators. Not workflow generators. N8N workflows. So I want us to think about, like, what is just some, like, image to video automation, faceless videos. I personally do not like faceless videos. I think that they're a waste of time and they're not actually valuable and they're not going to get you what you think they're going to get you. But I think something that is important to notice here is that we could say, I just copied the link to this video. I'm going to go to Comey.ai, which allows me to generate these videos, right? Generate these transcripts. And then I'm going to copy this transcript into N8N. And then inside of N8N, I'm going to say, I'm going to go to this project I'm going to use the original one. I think I have more. And then I'm going to say create me an N8N workflow from the transcript of this video describing an N8N workflow. So we're going to see now how close it gets if I just add in a transcript from a video on YouTube and have it basically just build out the system for me, and we can basically just watch it generate this in real time. And so I'm gonna pause the video while this loads. It'll probably take like 3 minutes to generate this because it's a long one. Okay, so now we can see that it generated us this JSON file from this original transcript. So we have the transcript here of the video. I basically had it created as an artifact, and then the artifact here is this. So if I download this as the system straight from the YouTube video, you can see that if I go in here, import it from a file, you can see that it's generating this system, generating video ideas. See if there's prompt in here. You are a creative director. So creative director, it's creating scenes. It's getting background music, and as you can see, it's connecting to all of the relevant APIs. It's getting the status, it's aggregating the scenes, it's rendering the final video, it's checking the video status, it's uploading it to Supabase. And so it's not perfect. Like you can see, we still have to connect a lot of these. Obviously, we need to put in our API keys, but all the API nodes were set up. And so again, it gets us about 80% of the way there. And for the rest of the system, we can potentially delegate it, do it ourselves, and only spend 20% of the time to build this that it would have taken us otherwise if we were manually setting this up. So I hope you found this video valuable. I hope this is something that you're going to use in your systems. If you're interested in diving deeper into learning different aspects of how to build out AI agents, prompt engineering, so on and so forth, or just having community calls, we have various different calls in here. I talk a lot about documenting the process of building an agency. We talk with other agency owners all the time, speak with prompt engineers on prompt engineering, tactics, strategies, essentially. And so we have all the different prompt engineer mindsets, AI agent templates you can download. Obviously, you could just recreate them from the videos if you wanted, or just understanding the basics of how to build these out inside of N8N. So it's in the description if you're interested. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.